Well, you know what they say, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And the way that Dembélé closed out the season was special. He put up 25 goals in 2025 compared to the fall of 2024, and in just 9 more matches as well. He also upped his assist number, goals per 90, and shots on target per 90. I mean, this guy was just unbelievable. Really, the whole PSG team, the way that they grew throughout the season, a very young team, was incredible to watch, and they were rewarded with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 trophies on the year. And all that production and those titles this season, well, is it enough for Dembélé to win Ballon d'Or? His manager, Luis Enrique, sure thinks so. He said, if we think about how he defended, he showed just what he was made of. He was a leader, he was humble, he got back down and defended. I think without a shadow of a doubt, he deserves this. We have seen such a season from him, and he was exceptional in the final. All right, Jalil, so high praise from the manager, Luis Enrique, but what is it that makes this guy so special?
I mean, I think being at his top form in the most important moments for PSG. You know, there's a lot of talk of should it be Mo Salah, should it be other players? But when you look at Ousmane Dembélé, when it mattered the most, he wasn't just a stat guy. You can look just as far as last weekend. In the final, did he score? No, but he was absolutely vital to what they did in the transition. Like Luis Enrique said, he's in good spots to defend, but he's not paid to defend. He's paid to either score or manufacture goals. That's exactly what he did in the final, and he did it throughout the entirety of not only their Ligue 1 season, but of course in the Champions League. All
right, so Master, does that put him as the Ballon d'Or favorite for you?
I think so. I think you have to, considering obviously the debate obviously is whether the entire season should be accounted for. But from January on to this point, no one's been better. And the biggest question for him, the talent's always been there. It's just the finishing and the final product of it and being able to have the confidence to find the back of the net. And that's clearly what we've seen so far through the last few months. And him being minus 275 right now, the clear betting favorite according to Bet365.
Maybe it's not fair to Mbappé that his name's been brought up so much with what PSG have just achieved this weekend and kind of down the stretch as they were in the running, and then, you know, the winners of that elusive UCL title that they just hadn't ever been able to do in their history before. You know, Pablo, I'm curious your thoughts on how Mbappe's, legacy and perception is affected by all of this, by Dembélé, by PSG's success, and especially seeing, that maybe Mbappé didn't necessarily do what Luis Enrique needed him to do at times, during his time at PSG, and a player like Dembélé, clearly, with what we hear from Luis Enrique, did exactly that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's probably some recency bias at play there. I think Mbappe's legacy at PSG is probably quasi-untouchable in a way. Obviously became a global superstar there. I mean, I just think obviously, certainly Dembélé is not the flavor of the month or anything like that, but I think it's obviously a lot easier to sort of favor players who are in the news right this minute. I feel sort of the same way about the Ballon d'Or debate. It's easy for him to be the odds-on favorite literally days after winning the European Champions or the Champions League, obviously. So it's hard to say. But I mean, I don't really think Mbappe's legacy at PSG is sort of in danger. I do sometimes feel bad about how much notoriety that clip of Enrique, essentially Luis Enrique, berating him, has gotten obviously over the years. It's like a viral type of thing, But
and also, Jalil, you know this from being in those situations. A coach, no matter who the player is going to have those different moments. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of moments where he's praising Mbappé for doing the right thing, So it's almost like maybe Mbappe's just the perception of him was really affected by that clip,
For some maybe, but for me, no, I don't. I see that clip completely differently. And the clip that we're talking about is referring to the one in the film room, right, where Luis Enrique is coaching him. I see that as him coaching him. The best players in the world want to be coached at the highest level. And Luis Enrique was able to do that with Mbappé. He's able to do it with Dembélé. That's why he's one of the best managers in the world, right? And when you look at the end of that clip is the most important thing. Mbappe's like, I got it, boss, let's go. Let's get it. I agree with you completely, Pablo, that recency bias is definitely maybe playing in Dembele's favor as far as what his legacy is going to mean for PSG in contrast to Mbappe's. Because because when you look at what Mbappé did at PSG, you can't forget what he was doing for the French national team at the time as well. 2 World Cup finals, 1 World Cup championship at just 17 years old. I don't think that Mbappé is to blame for why they weren't able to win a Champions League while he was there.
No, I don't think that's the argument being said either. I don't think that Mbappé deserves any blame. If anything, it's pretty noble that he pushed away his own dream that he's had as a kid to play at Real Madrid, to try and create a new legacy at PSG for other Parisians like himself to aspire to play locally at their clubs. But Dembélé is the one that was able to do it. Dembélé is the one that obviously was able to put everything together. And considering where he was at in Barcelona and coming to PSG, and obviously what we've seen from his time at Barcelona, and for him to come back to France, come to PSG, and set this legacy and set the standard now of what's possible for a club in France to win Champions League, to win the domestic treble, to accomplish everything you possibly can accomplish and achieve in Europe. It's easy to say it's recency bias, but Ballon d'Or is always like that. But I think it's well deserved in terms of the praise that he gets here. I mean, he's at the French Open bringing the Champions League trophy. You know, like this man is on top of the world. He is the man of the hour here. But these moments, these pictures, this is going to live forever, and not only just Parisians, but also just globally in European football. These are moments we're never going to forget.
Yeah, this team definitely cemented in history, and we want to kind of get a feel of how people are feeling about the upcoming Ballon d'Or, who the favorite is, and so let's take a look at what our own James Benge thinks as far as his top 5 for who should win the Ballon d'Or or the favorites to win the Ballon d'Or. So he's got Mo Salah coming in at number 1, Raphinha at number 2, Ousmane Dembélé at number 3. His teammate, Kvaratskhelia at number 4, and Pedri at number 5. And the one name that you would notice is omitted from James Benge's list is Lamine Yamal, who's, I think, generally considered one of the favorites across the board for a lot of people. I'm putting Lamine Yamal in over Kvaratskhelia. Jalil, where do you stand on that list?
Yeah, I agree with you, Aly. I would swap those two, or you can even swap Lamine Yamal for Pedri, his own teammate. For me, in your top 5, Lamine Yamal is definitely there. He's definitely there. What he was able to do throughout the entirety of the season. You talked about the entirety of the season, Pablo. Lamine Yamal is right up there. And for me, I look at national team. I look at club form as well. And he is the guy. Yes. You have Lewandowski, who scored more goals, and he has a shout to be in there as well. But when you look at who is putting the most fear in the opposition's defense, it's Lamine Yamal, because what he's able to do to open up the field is unprecedented, especially at his age.
I mean, again, we were just several weeks ago we were talking about this guy. The question was, has anybody ever existed at this level in the game at his age?
And the answer is no.
Exactly. And if anybody, and now he's not even in the top 5 for Ballon d'Or. It seems like a little ridiculous. Seems like maybe these ratings were done a little bit, for the banter. Obviously, it's working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, obviously,
James, come defend yourself.
Right. Yeah, you have to have a controversial, exclusion, I think, in any of these lists.
Lamine should be in the top 5, but I think where it's been in terms of Barcelona, in terms of the pecking order of who deserves the most praise, like Raphinha to me has been absolutely outstanding for Barcelona, and the praise that I don't think he's getting enough recognition for the fact that he should be the guy. If anyone at Barcelona deserves the Ballon d'Or praise, I feel like it should be Raphinha. But he's not getting the recognition. He didn't get La Liga Player of the Year. I think Mbappé is the one that got that. He's not going to be in consideration for Ballon d'Or more than likely, because you look at the odds, and Raphinha, I think, is at plus 1,000. He's behind Lamine Yamal. So if he continues to be, for some reason, the unsung hero in this whole situation, the Barcelona, especially someone that was completely 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, no one knew what the future of Raphinha was at Barcelona, and for him to produce in the way that he did for Hansi Flick, I truly think it's not getting enough credit.
I think on the desk here, sorry to cut you off, I think on the desk here we've been giving Raphinha his flowers. I think when you look at the prowess across European football, people are going to be excluded from whatever list the winners of these top end awards. But for me, Raphinha's gotten his praise, at least with us. Aly, would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. But I don't think it would be a surprise to see a player from PSG or Barcelona come away with the Ballon d'Or. Before we go to break, though, I will say I was a little surprised to see Mo Salah at number 1. Liverpool had an excellent season, but they also came up short in some other areas as well. So I don't know. We're going to have James Benge come on at some point and maybe defend himself and his picks.